Hey, how's it going? It's Mike from Two Rivers. Well, this will be part 2 to the Vevor heater, diesel heater install on this bombi. So, part 1, made the bracket, got it all installed. Part 2, we're going to run the fuel lines. We're going to make a bracket for the pump, get the pump set at the right angle, and we're also going to have to fabricate some kind of a cover, protector, whatever you want for the fuel tank that's going to sit in the back corner. So we'll get that all made up. We'll fabricate all the brackets, the cover, and then we'll get everything run. And after that, we'll have to deal with electrical to the front because we have to extend everything because it's short. So, I'm not going to take up any more time yakking. I'm just going to start working. Okay, so now I want to mount the tank. I picked it in the back corner. The unfortunate part is they've got a dimple and it's flat on the back side, and it's pushed in on this tank here to bolt it down. So I'll have to build something to retain it or give it some support. But I'm going to enclose it in an aluminum box. That way, if they go into the bush, they don't puncture a hole in it. I'll put some foam inside of it to stop some of the vibration. And when I talked to the owner, I think I'm going to extend the gooseneck a little bit because I don't like the hole that they have for venting in the top here, which is going to let moisture in. So, but I'm going to have to sit here and design a bracket for it and see how it works out. So for the tank, they give you this bung, 2 washers, and somebody needs to explain to me how the fuck I'm going to get my arm in there to hold this in place. Who the fuck thought of this stupid shit? So now I gotta drill a hole in the tank, drop this in there, and play some game of trying to get it in that hole there. Holy shit. You believe that, Mike?
Well, I don't know how they do it though.
I'm gonna have to put a piece of wire on it and feed it down to the hole.
Yeah, they feed the wire through and then put the L and then pull it through this way and then tighten it that way.
You guys are fucked out of your mind. And they give you these instructions that are so small you can't read it. Alright, so I've got a wire that fits on there, saying that we gotta play this stupid game. Feed that through there, push up towards the top here. Okay, wires through. So they've got the aluminum bung. Put an O-ring on the bottom. Saying that I don't trust everything that's made nowadays, I'll put some Teflon tape on the threads. Right, Mike?
Always.
Don't trust nothing. Especially those YouTubers.
You're one of us now.
No, I'm not. I've only got 93 subscribers. I don't count. So I'm going to slide it down the... down. Oh, look at that. Bend on the end of this. cutting this piece. I believe it is the rough size is 24¼ by 23¼ I'm going to bend 90 degrees, 3.5 inches on each side, which will leave 17 inches by 18 inches inside. So what I'll do is I'll scribe my lines. I'll take the tank. I'll set the tank in here just to make sure that I am not going to end up making headaches for myself. I seem to do that quite well, is make some headaches. So I'll get on with doing my lines, and then what we'll do is we'll put it in a box pan brake and then bend it up. And we'll see how everything kind of fits together. Well, attempt one sucked. There it is on the floor. So I'm gonna shrink the sides by probably 1/4 of an inch so I have enough space to bend it through here, which is horse. But that's the way it goes. So I'll make a new piece and start over. Well, you can see even I made it smaller and it still wouldn't bend it all the way, so I'm gonna have to figure out these two because I'm not wasting any more material on this bullshit. So, tank has enough room inside, which is good. I got lots of space. I'm just making marks in here so I can cut that open a bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut so this neck sticks out. So the tank will fit in here like this. Probably gonna end up cutting that corner completely off. By the looks of it, my holes can go in here, no problem. I think we'll be good. Okay, so we're gonna cut this corner so the filler cap doesn't interfere or get interfered with and maybe puncture the plastic. So I'll get rid of this piece here. So as you can see, that filler neck comes out quite well. Nothing interfering with it. So now what I need to do is actually secure the tank to this cover. So on the plastic molded tank, it's not punched all the way through, so we'll take a drill bit and we'll just punch a hole through it. I've got my 3 marks. I don't know if you can see them. There's 1, 2, 3. I'll drill those out. That way I can bolt it, secure it to this for now, just for mocking up reasons. See how it works on the bombi, and then what I need to do after that is make the inside cover, which will just fit inside this box. That ought to be fun. Or I may just make something to attach, I don't know, maybe some angle iron or something, or to attach to the bombi so I can attach this tank cover with the tank in it to the machine. All right, let's drill the hole. Seeing that I can't talk today. So there it is. It's all one piece. So I think that should work pretty good. After these corners get tigged, it'll add some strength. And then I'll have some support coming. You know, once I put it up against the back of the bombi, there'll be something to lock it all into place. I'll put some rubber or something in between here and the back side. That way it'll absorb some of the shock. And then here we'll figure out maybe some rubber washers or something. That way where the bolts go through, I just want to make sure that this does not get punctured because of something that I could have done to prevent it, because these bombis do bounce around a lot. Okay, so what I got here is just some flat stock of sheeting left over from cutting this box or making that cover. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut strips 3 inches long. I'll cut 4 of them. And then I'm just gonna bend it 1 inch, 2 inch. The 1 inch will be attached to the machine at the back here. And then we'll use the 2 inch lip to come inside, right inside here, and then attach it with probably, I'm gonna use some anchors and some shorter bolts. And then what we'll do is we can attach this to the machine. And if need be to get in here, just undo the bolts and then pull the whole thing off with enough slack on the line. That way you can service the tank if needed to be serviced. I got my 4 pieces cut. What I'll do is I'll just set this at 2 inches. And then I'm going to do some scribe marks for this. I'll just go on the end here. So now what I'll do is I'll just bend it along that line. I'll have my 490s, that way I can mount it to the machine, screw the tank to this, and then the whole back end of that tank area will be done. Then I can drill a hole through the back. There'll be a hole drilled through here. And then back inside the machine behind that seat, I will put the fuel pump, the filter, and then run it up. It's gonna run up the side here. I know there's no lights, but run it up the side to feed the heater. And then I'll just run some power to it just to test it out to see how it's gonna work. I wanna see if that pump will be able to push it up that distance to the heater and work. Because if it doesn't, then I have to go back to the drawing board again and redo everything, which would really suck. All right, so there you have it. Those brackets are on the back, riveted in place. I have to cut these off. Annoying as shit, but should work out. Let's hope. Grab the cover. So that's how it's going to sit. Fill cap is here. I'll probably end up doing something different for the fill cap because I really do not like that fill cap. It's back and the bottom. So the tank's going to get secured to here. So I'm going to probably mock this all together. What I'm going to do here first is I need to drill all my holes that are going to come through so I can attach this. And then once that's attached, it's going to be rock solid. It won't go anywhere. So I may have to, you can see right here, I may notch that a little bit because of that rivet, but we'll see how that goes. All right, well, I'm going to attach, getting ready to attach this to the tabs I just put on, and I'll put the tank on. We'll drill a hole through the cab to go inside for the fuel line. And once that fuel line's attached, I get to fire that baby up and see if that pump is able to push fuel to that distance all the way up. So I'll get on that right away. So we're gonna drill a hole through the top here in a couple spots so we can put these anchors in to hold this together. I will do the same on the sides and on the bottom, but we'll start with the top. I got it clamped down. Do a couple pilot holes. I'll probably just go in a little bit here. I have to remember to keep it out of the way of the tank, so the tighter to the wall, the better. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'll put one in first. I'd like to see how far the tank is going to clear these. That way if I have to figure out something else, I can just cut that off and not worry about it. So I'll just drill that hole a little bit bigger. So these rivets that don't break flush, all you gotta do is just grab a pair of curl hairs and just kind of go back and forth a little bit. You just snap that off. Slide this on here. Sits in there pretty tight. So it's looking like using those anchors is not a good idea because they're actually hitting the fuel tank. So, go to another plan. So I'll get rid of this. So what was happening is when that was in here, that plug was in this hole, it was actually hitting the tank. That means it's going to hit the tank all the way around and eventually wear a hole in it. So I'm going to leave the brackets on, and then I'll bend a piece, probably that'll anchor here, come around the back and anchor somewhere around here to hold it in place. This will always keep it in place. It's never going to move either way, left, right, up or down. This will lock it in. The tank fits in there nice and tight. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's just a matter of anchoring it down. I think that's the key. I'll probably build a strap to anchor it down. So that's what I'll do. I'll put it back on and I'll build a strap to hold it in place. Then it's just 2 bolts and then that all comes off. But I have to leave those brackets there because those brackets keep it nice and tight so it doesn't move around. I bent a complete strap to go all the way from the top, wraps around to the bottom. I'll put anchor points in the bottom. I'll drill a hole for an anchor point. Same with the top. I'm not sure if I'll do 2 or 1. So now the strap wraps completely around it. So what I'll do is I'll tighten it right up. I'll prep all this and I'll TIG the sides. I'll TIG both sides. That should be strong enough to hold it, because I know on Lake Winnipeg, and I'm going to bring this up a lot between snow bears and any other vehicle, Lake Winnipeg is a bitch. She will beat anything up. So I'm trying to avoid as much headaches as possible by making stuff a little more rigid. So, well, I'm gonna take it together. All right, so I got it TIG together, kinda. I'm not, never claimed to be a professional TIG welder, but I know enough to get me by. So I'm gonna cut this here. That way I can get it to fit past the rubber of the window. I'll drill a hole here. I'll come down to the bottom, drill a hole in there. Then we'll put anchors in here. And then we should be able to bolt that up, and it shouldn't go anywhere. I'm thinking I won't need anything on either side, because once this tightens up, it should be good to go. Well, I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna cut this, drill my holes, get my anchors in. If that all works, and I'll put the tank in. I'll just set it in for now. I'll drill a hole, because I really want to see this thing work. I'm hoping that this pump is able to push the fuel up into that heater and work without any issues. So only one way to find out, and that's to get to that point. All right, you can see it twisted a little bit from the heat. Like I said, I'm not a TIG welder. I don't do it for a living. This one's not too bad. So I'm going to drill my holes in here for anchors. I think I'm just gonna go with one bolt at the top and one at the bottom. That should be good enough. And then if I use a lock wash or something, it should work pretty good. So I'm gonna start drilling my holes here and get it figured out up there. I don't know if anybody else has a problem with these DeWalt drills with these bullshit chucks, but they don't work with a shit. Well, that's it. This ain't gonna go nowhere. It'll be good. I can still tighten this up a little bit more. I can probably tighten the bottom up a little bit more. But we're at this point now. I can kind of mock it up, put the fuel tank in here, figure out where my hole's got to go for my fuel line, drill that hole, and get the pump hooked up. I'll wire it up and fire this baby up and see how it works. that all done, or painted anyways. I can't say we got it done. It's painted black. We've got the sight window cut in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding some weather strip foam on the back side and on the back of the bombi. It'll be a rough day today, can't talk. So we'll have to clean it with acetone. Right there. Some acetone. And then what I'm going to do is just stick it on there. So I'm just going to grab some acetone here and I'll clean the areas, the entire back here. And you can see how dirty that is. So you want to clean off all the oils that are on here. That way, at least that weather stripping will stick a little bit. And then we'll put the tank on. We'll lock it all in place with locking nuts and washers. And then we can get on with installing everything onto the back. Finally, if you want to get annoyed, do that. Okay, so we're going to put the tank in here now, and we'll secure the tank. We're going to put lock washers, or not lock washers, but self-locking nuts with washers. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's a nylon self-locking nut, which I'll feed the bolt through. And I'll put a washer, then a nut. So the customer, he had just stopped in and he requested a shutoff valve, just as a safety precaution. So I'll have to go pick up a shutoff valve because I'm pretty sure I don't have one here. And I will add that in a bit. So I'll just carry on with hanging the furnace inside. I'll get the exhaust run out. I'll get my line all set up, and then I'll go for a ride later and get a shutoff valve for that. Well, I think we're gonna end the video here. So we did a lot of progress on the tank, and it took a lot of time to figure all that stuff out. But next time, mount the pump, get some lines run, get the wiring going, fire it up. If it all works good, then what we'll do is permanently mount the heater and the fuel line, and we'll extend the electrical wires and we'll run them. And after that, well, I guess the next big project will end up being the dash. But till then, stay safe, and if you're going fishing, good luck.